A verified alien abduction caught on tape and quantum healing hypnosis technique. That's what this video is about. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome to my channel. This channel is called Charmed Life, and I'm your host. I'm Tricia Carr. I am a spiritual teacher, a hypnotherapist, and I help people to open their intuitive abilities like channeling and psychic reading, animal communication. And as I said, I'm also a hypnotherapist. And so is my guest on this video. This is a clip from the full-length podcast, which you really need to listen to. You can find the link to that below. But I have with me Jennifer Mitchell, who is a quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner. This is Dolores Cannon's method, an immersive, soul-cracking open process. And Jennifer is a beautiful and wonderful heart-based, soul-driven practitioner of QHHT. And I decided to clip this excerpt out of the podcast to share with you because she shares a story about a client who was missing time, suspected that they were abducted by aliens, and it was caught on tape. So stay tuned, listen to this really mind-blowing experience, and I will chat with you on the other side. So you have abduction experiences, stories, or do you have experiences of your own as well? That's another question, maybe wherever you want to go with
What's
that.
interesting is, as I touched earlier, a lot of my childhood was based on aliens. Like, my mom would take me to MUFON conventions at like 12, 13. She thought she was an alien. She told me I was an alien. And growing up, I didn't understand that,
Mm.
why is this happening? But now, as these people are coming through my door, I'm like, wow, I was really prepared. I'm your go-to. If you've had an abduction or think you've had an abduction or you think you see something and it's like, come to me. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. One of my most unique sessions is a girl who came through the door, and first I like to say everything's confidential. Nobody knows who my clients are. To talk about the experiences,
Yeah.
and she felt she had missing time. She's like,
Mhm.
I don't understand what's going on. I have these pockets of time where I don't know what has happened to me. And her and her husband have been driving to the store, and here in Nevada, on the outskirts of Nevada, and they don't recall making it to the store. They all of a sudden, like, several hours have passed, and they're sitting on the
Wow.
couch,
Oh,
and
he
there's this
too?
random, her and
So
him
both
too,
of them. Oh,
both of
wow.
them. And
That's
there's
fascinating.
yeah, it's very fascinating. There's this random TV show on the TV that she's like, we would never be watching. And both of them, they look at each other, and he's like, do you remember going to the store? She's like, I don't remember anything. Like, and they look at the clock, and it had been like 4 or 5 hours. She tells me, in the session, like, she was nervous. She's like, I'm really nervous. And she's like, says I've been having these dreams, and I don't know if they're dreams, but I keep dreaming this since this happened that I'm waking up on a spaceship. And the other night, I'm falling asleep, and there's an orb hovering over my husband's cell phone. I saw it, and it zipped out the room. So I regressed her, and she had a fascinating past life, by the way. But then we get to the point after the past life, and we go through the dusting, and I call forward the subconscious. A lot. There was a lot that came forward. And so that missing time, first thing that her subconscious said is she needs to check her cell phone. The proof is there. Tell her to
Oh,
check the cell phone. Yes, she needs to check her cell phone because there's a video. They want the video. And that was why the orb was hovering over the cell phone, but it was on her cell phone. And so her subconscious said, look at the date and time of your missing time experience, and you will find a video. And I just get chills talking about this. Yeah. And I'll get to that in a moment. Because we did look at her cell phone right after, really
yeah.
after the session. I was like, let's see the cell phone. And the her subconscious revealed that she and her husband have both signed up for this this life, and to be basically not an experiment, but they gather data from them. So they were being visited, and they were, aliens species was collecting samples from them in order to help humanity, and they were studying the DNA. And she had woken up on the ship. That she did recall that correctly. They tried to mask the memory and make it seem like a dream, but it wasn't. She had woken up and she sat up on the ship because she's more conscious. Her vibration was a little higher, they said, than her husband's. This was the reasoning that
Mm.
was given. And they tried to, at that point they tried to rewrite the memory, and
Mm.
she was struggling with that. Like, she knew in her intuition, she knew that I don't think that this is a dream. I don't think I'm dreaming. So they were having multiple abductions, and there was even one time where she went into her backyard and she looked, and she was visited. They came down into her backyard, and she said that in the session, she's like, they're pulling my consciousness out of my body. And
Oh,
Dolores
yeah.
talks about this. She's like they're sucking like my consciousness is being pulled, and she was being like pulled out of the body, and then she wakes up. Like she would find herself like in the bed, like waking up, like what happened. And so I get a lot of these stories, but this is, I think, the most interesting one because after the session, we look at the cell phone and she was scrolling through, and there's this video. And as I said earlier, I'm very well versed on taking pictures of the sky and analyzing photos since I was a child, looking for things. I've never in my life seen anything like what was on this woman's video. So she must have pulled off to the side of the road because the way the video is taken, it looks like she's standing on the side of the road, and it's right around dusk. It looks like dusk time, and in the sky there is three silver, round, rather large though, like orb-looking objects. Three silver ones, and they're all hovering in a line, perfectly aligned. They're like hovering, and then all of a sudden it goes, "Vroom," and then they flip, and then they align this way, and then this is where it gets really tricky.
Oh,
Then,
this is where?
yeah, I've never seen anything like this. Then they start to come closer to her, and the three silver orbs go vroom, and they melt into one red orb, and then the video cuts off.
Was she holding the video, or how was the video
Yes,
taken? What was the POV?
it, Uh, yeah, from the POV, it looks like she's holding it. You can hear her boyfriend's like, "What is?" Or her husband's like, "What is that? What's going on?" She's like, "I don't know. I never." And you can hear them. She didn't even know this was on her phone. And
Right.
so I, like I said, I consider myself somewhat of an expert in UFOism. I've never seen anything like that, and I was
Did
amazed.
she publish it somewhere? Did she, like,
She
share it?
didn't. She didn't. I think she was really struggling to process, and I didn't want to ask for the video. I don't,
Right, I wouldn't,
you know,
yeah.
if they want it back, especially, which is what her subconscious says, like they want that video back. They're trying. That's why they're hovering over your cell phone. Um, yeah, and so it was. That's I think that's one of my favorite sessions. I have a lot of incredible stories that come forward in sessions, but that's one of my favorites. Just
Oh my gosh. If she ever
yeah,
publishes it, you have to let us know because we
I
wanna see
will.
it. Did
And
she
she said,
see Mhm, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Oh, she said she's like, I'm definitely coming back for more sessions. So
Yeah.
I'll find out if she published it.
Okay, does she have a memory did she see them? Like, who what did they look like? The ETs?
Yes. So, typical description from what we've heard, she described a gray. The
Tall? Tall
guy,
gray or a short gray?
yes. Well, she had two separate experiences. And
Okay.
the experience where her consciousness was like tugged out of her body, that was a tall gray. And she described also at that point when her consciousness was taken out and she was transported onto the ship. Um, the mantis. I don't know if are you familiar
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
mantis? It's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
yes,
I know all
you
about
know.
them.
Okay, yes. So she experienced an encounter with mantis and was
Uh-huh.
like trying. That was where the reprogramming of the mind and the memory was happening, and she was a little bit nervous. She's like, this thing is like part machine, but it's also like a being, and
Mhm.
I feel scared, but it's also like a loving feeling that's coming over me. And So there was that experience, and then she was visited by the short grays, and that was in the experience where they had pulled off to the side of the road, and which was the first encounter. And those are also when she is a, I guess they have been having multiple abductions at night, according to her subconscious. Those are the ones that are visiting her.
And did anything come out around this? Can she opt out? Can she say no, thank you, or what?
They've agreed. I mean, they agreed prior to this life, and they're okay
Yeah.
with it now. Now that she's
Okay.
come,
Well,
she
that's
was
good to know.
confused, and that's why she came to me. She's like, "I think I'm losing my mind," and she was a
Yeah.
little frantic at first, and I was like, "You've come to the right person. I'm your girl. Like, it's okay. You can't tell me anything. That this is a safe place." And so I really walked her through it, and I shared a little bit. The sessions about my client, but I did, to try to comfort her. Share a little bit about my background and the things that I know, and I was like, we'll uncover whatever it is, and your subconscious will let you know. And so, yes, both her and her husband, this is why they're here. This is the reason for the life, and that's they both signed on and agreed to it. So they're okay with it now.
So amazing.
Yeah,
If she ever wants to, if she ever feels like if it's appropriate or anything like that, like tell her
mhm,
she can come on my show too, because we would love to hear.
absolutely.
Um, but thank you so much for sharing. That's amazing. I wish I had seen that video. I want to see that video.
I know.
It's
I feel like I really wish I had a copy of it, but then, like I said, I don't think I want a copy on my
I
phone.
know.
But
Yeah.
just, I've never seen anything like this, Trisha. And I started by saying like, "Oh, you can't shock me," but that did shock me. I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, that's a video I've never." And I told her I haven't seen anything like that before. So
Incredible. Well, thank you so much. Well, this has been just so amazing, and
yeah,
we are going to do this again. We have it scheduled already, so I'll let everyone know about that. And next time we meet, we're going to do it live, and we'll talk to people, answer some questions. Maybe you'll share another amazing story like this. This is
yes,
exciting. So, is there anything else you want to share with us before you leave? Ways that people can work with you, whatever you have going on, let us know, or anything else you want to share as we
yeah.
close this.
First, I would like to say, because I would imagine that maybe many of your listeners, people who have stumbled on, to your podcast, they might be going through something similar or transitioning on wherever they are on their spiritual journey. And if you are being called to step forward and work in the light and do a different, line of work, don't be scared.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
being called to it for a reason.
Yeah.
Trust me, I took the leap and I was frightened, and here I am. I'm still okay, and I'm helping people and fulfilling my purpose. So if you are out there listening to this and this message resonates with you, take that leap and trust. And for anybody who's interested in a session, it it's the most incredible, amazing experience that you will have. I am confident in that. You can reach out to me. I am in the Las Vegas area, as I previously mentioned. Um, Trisha, do you link my information in?
Yes.
You
Yes.
will.
And
Okay.
do you do sessions only in person, or do you do remote sessions as well?
Right now, I do sessions in person. However, very soon I will also be trained in BQH, which does open up for me to be able to do online sessions.
Okay,
And
great.
BQH is very similar to QHHT. It's just an online version. So yes, pretty soon I will be able to do the online sessions as well.
Good. 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 Okay, awesome. Wow, Jennifer, such a cool time. I want seriously, we could, and I really do mean it. Like we have another session scheduled to get together
Yes,
and talk about this stuff, but we need to do this
can't
more
wait.
often. So thank you so much for
Definitely.
sharing and for the work that you do, for all of your encouraging. I love how you're encouraging us. I also had to make that transition. It's worth it.
Yeah,
And
it
so
is.
just thank you. Thank you for all the work that you're doing on our beautiful world.
Thank you for having me.
So, like I said, you really need to listen to the whole podcast. And Jennifer is actually coming to do a live stream with me. So, you just need to subscribe here. Jennifer Mitchell will be on live streaming with me. We'll take some questions right off the feed. Jennifer shares on the podcast how important it is that you follow your soul. If you feel called to do work that is soul driven, if you feel called to be a practitioner in the experience of the light, and I echo her comments. Jennifer shares her story on the podcast about how she made that transition. I've made that transition as well. And I teach others how to do that, how to open their intuitive abilities, how to open to animal communication. And I also teach about how to be a professional at it, how you got to do it on this plane. So I want to invite you to check the description here, the show notes, because we have all of Jennifer's information, how you can work with her and get a QHHT session, and then also the other things that I'm offering in Intuitive Healing Arts Academy and Modern Mystic Life, my membership. So that's what I have for you. Oh, I just love this conversation. And I thank you so much for shining your light on our beautiful world. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.